For years, the entire world agreed on one thing. If you want to build the most advanced computer chips on Earth, the tiny, mind-bendingly complex processors that power your phone, your laptop, the AI everyone's talking about, you need one specific machine, a single machine built by a single company in a single country. Without it, the experts said, you simply cannot cross a certain line. You'd be stuck, permanently. That machine was deliberately kept out of China's hands. The logic was airtight. No machine, no advanced chips, no way forward. China would hit a wall at a certain level of technology and stop there, frozen, while everyone else raced ahead. Except China just walked straight through that wall. A Chinese company called SMIC has now started mass-producing a 5-nanometer class chip, a genuinely advanced processor, a full generation ahead of what most analysts swore was China's ceiling. And it did it without the machine it was banned from buying. The chip is real. It's already inside a phone you can hold in your hand, and its existence is quietly rewriting one of the core assumptions of the entire global technology war. Now, like every story on this channel, there's important fine print, and I'm going to give you all of it, honestly, because the truth here is more interesting than the hype on either side. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what SMIC built, why everyone said it was impossible, the brutal trick they used to pull it off, what it cost them, and why this single chip has people in boardrooms around the world genuinely rattled. Let's get into it. To understand why this is such a big deal, you need to understand the machine. Because this isn't just a machine. It might be the single most complex object humanity has ever manufactured. It's called an EUV lithography system, extreme ultraviolet. And making chips is, at its heart, a printing process. You're printing unimaginably tiny patterns onto a wafer of silicon, patterns so small they're measured in nanometers, billionths of a meter. The smaller and finer you can print those patterns, the more transistors you cram onto a chip, and the more powerful it becomes. That's been the engine of all computing progress for decades. To print the very finest patterns, the cutting edge, 5 nanometers and below, you need light with an extremely short wavelength. And generating that specific kind of extreme ultraviolet light is so monstrously difficult that only one company on the entire planet can build a machine to do it, a Dutch firm called ASML. Just one, nowhere else. How hard is it? Each EUV machine costs around $200 million. It weighs as much as 2 loaded buses. To create the light, the machine fires a high-powered laser at microscopic droplets of molten tin 50,000 times per second. It contains the flattest mirrors ever manufactured by human beings. It is a genuine marvel, and there is exactly one source for it on Earth. So here's what happened. The United States, wanting to slow China's technological rise, pressured the Netherlands to block the sale of these EUV machines to China. The reasoning was simple and on paper, devastating. EUV is the only known way to make chips at 5 nanometers and below. China can't buy EUV. Therefore, China is locked out of advanced chips, stuck at an older level called 7 nanometers, unable to go further. That was the plan. The entire strategy rested on one belief, that EUV was absolutely, non-negotiably required to break past 7 nanometers. China just proved that belief wrong. The company at the center of this is SMIC, Semiconductor Manufacturing International Corporation, China's largest chipmaker. And in late 2025, something showed up that analysts immediately pounced on. Huawei released a new phone with a processor inside it called the Kirin 9030. And when the respected analysis firm Tech Insights physically tore that chip apart to examine it, which is exactly what these firms do, they literally dissect chips under powerful microscopes. They confirmed something remarkable. The Kirin 9030 was built on a brand new SMIC process called N+3, a 5 nanometer class node. China's most advanced chip ever made, in volume production, sitting inside a consumer phone. And critically, made without a single EUV machine. Let that land for a second. This is a full generation jump. SMIC's previous best was a 7 nanometer class process called N+2. That's what powered Huawei's earlier AI chips. Jumping from 7 nanometer to 5 nanometer class is not a small step. It's the kind of leap the entire industry insisted was impossible without EUV. SMIC didn't just inch forward, it leapfrogged an entire generation, using only the older machines it's actually allowed to have. So the obvious question is, how? If EUV is the only way to print patterns that fine, and China doesn't have EUV, how is there a 5 nanometer chip sitting inside a phone right now? The answer is one of the most impressive, and most punishing, feats of engineering in the modern chip industry. And once you understand it, you'll understand both why it's brilliant and why it comes at a brutal price. Here's the workaround, and I'm going to make it simple. The machine China is allowed to have is the previous generation tool, called DUV, Deep Ultraviolet. It uses light with a longer wavelength than EUV. Think of it this way. EUV is like a fine-tipped pen that can draw an incredibly thin, crisp line in a single stroke. DUV is like a fat marker. With one stroke of a fat marker, you simply cannot draw a line as thin as the fine pen can. So how do you draw an ultra-thin line with a fat marker? You cheat. You don't draw the line directly, you draw around it. You make multiple careful passes, each one laying down part of the pattern, building up the final ultra-fine result through a sequence of steps that no single pass could achieve. In the industry, this is called multi-patterning, and SMIC used an especially aggressive form of it known as self-aligned quadruple patterning. Quadruple, as in 4 times. Picture trying to paint an incredibly intricate, razor-sharp design on a wall. The fine-tipped airbrush, EUV, does it in one clean pass. You don't have the airbrush. So instead, you paint the wall, then mask part of it, and paint again, then mask and paint again, and again, 4 separate, perfectly aligned passes, slowly sculpting a level of detail the fat brush could never achieve in one go. Done perfectly, the final result rivals what the airbrush would have produced. That is, essentially, what SMIC did. They used brute force, engineering brilliance and sheer stubbornness to squeeze a 5-nanometer class result out of machines that were never designed to reach it. Where EUV does the job in one elegant exposure, SMIC stacks pass after pass after pass, each one demanding flawless precision, to mimic what the forbidden machine does naturally. It's a genuinely stunning achievement. It proves that the wall everyone thought was solid had a way around it after all. But, and this is the part the hype videos skip, painting the same wall 4 times instead of once is not free. It costs you, badly. And that cost is the whole reason this story has a second, more sober half. Here's where I have to be completely straight with you, because this is exactly the kind of story that gets twisted in both directions online. Every single one of those extra patterning passes is another chance for something to go wrong. Each pass has to line up with the previous one with almost supernatural precision. If the alignment drifts even slightly across 4 stacked passes, the tiny features blur, defects creep in, and the chip fails. So the more passes you add, the more chips come out broken. This is the central problem, and the industry has a word for it: yield. Yield is the percentage of chips on a wafer that actually come out working. With EUV's clean single pass, yields are high. With SMIC's 4-pass brute force method, yields are reportedly much lower, meaning a larger share of every batch is wasted. Analysts at Tech Insights specifically flagged yield as the key challenge. More broken chips per batch means each working chip is dramatically more expensive to produce. There are 2 more honest caveats you deserve to hear. First, even though SMIC reached a 5-nanometer class node, experts note its actual transistor density still falls short of the true 5-nanometer chips that companies like TSMC and Samsung made years ago. It's 5-nanometer class, a major achievement, but not a perfect match for the global leaders. Some analysts argue it sits closer to a souped-up 6-nanometer in real-world terms. And second, the most important nuance of all, while SMIC did this without EUV, it most likely still used advanced DUV machines that were originally imported from ASML before the tightest restrictions hit. So this isn't yet a 100% homegrown miracle. The achievement is doing it without EUV, not yet doing it without any foreign tools at all. That fully independent version is what China is racing toward next, and there are already reports of domestic Chinese DUV scanners and even an EUV prototype in testing. But we're not there yet, and I won't pretend we are. So here's the fair summary. SMIC has not matched TSMC, and it's not doing this cheaply or with perfect independence. What SMIC has done is shatter the belief that 5-nanometer class chips were flat out impossible without EUV. The "it can't be done" wall is gone. What remains is an "it's expensive and hard" wall, and that is a completely different and far more survivable kind of problem. So if it's expensive, lower yield, and not quite TSMC level, why are people genuinely rattled by this? Why does a single phone chip matter so much? Because of what it proves about the direction of the entire strategy. The export controls were built on a specific bet, that cutting off EUV would stop China cold at 7 nanometers. Not slow it, stop it. The whole point was a hard ceiling. SMIC just demonstrated that the ceiling isn't a ceiling at all. It's a speed bump, a painful, expensive, yield-crushing speed bump, but China drove right over it anyway. The wall meant to halt China's progress turned out to be something China could climb, slowly and at great cost, but climb nonetheless. And here's the deeper pattern, the one we keep seeing on this channel across story after story. Cut off from EUV, China didn't give up. It poured everything into mastering DUV multi-patterning to a degree nobody thought commercially viable. The restriction didn't kill the ambition. It redirected it, and forced a kind of engineering creativity that might never have happened otherwise. The same shape as the light chips, the GPU-free supercomputer, the new approach to Moore's law. A wall goes up, the water finds another way around it. There's also a brutal economic irony buried in here. Those same restrictions that blocked NVIDIA's top chips from China handed Huawei an enormous captive domestic market with no foreign competition, which gave Huawei and SMIC both the motivation and the guaranteed customers to justify pushing through these insanely difficult, expensive processes. In trying to choke the supply, the restrictions may have supercharged the demand for a homegrown alternative. The pressure designed to weaken the domestic industry instead gave it a reason to grow up fast. None of this means China has won the chip war. It hasn't. TSMC is still ahead. The cost and yield problems are real and serious. But the core assumption that a single banned machine could permanently cap China's progress, that assumption is now visibly, demonstrably cracked. And rewriting a foundational assumption like that is exactly the kind of thing that keeps strategists up at night. Let me zoom out because the trajectory matters more than this one chip. Right now, SMIC's path forward splits into two races. The first is improving yield, taking this expensive, difficult 4-pass process and grinding it down, batch after batch, into something cheaper and more reliable. That's the unglamorous, year-after-year factory work that turns a breakthrough into a business. History shows that yields, once a process exists at all, tend to climb steadily as engineers learn the quirks of their own line. Painful today doesn't mean painful forever. The second race is independence, replacing those imported DUV machines with fully domestic Chinese ones, so the entire process, top to bottom, can be done with no foreign parts at all. That's the holy grail Beijing is openly chasing, and there are already early reports of domestic immersion DUV scanners in testing, and even a homegrown EUV prototype reportedly undergoing trials. If, and it's still an if, China eventually cracks its own EUV machine, the entire export control strategy could lose much of its remaining grip. The honest near-term reality is that China is still a step behind the absolute frontier, and it's paying more to be there. But the gap between permanently locked out and a step behind and catching up is the difference between two completely different futures. SMIC just moved China from the first category into the second, and in a race like this, the direction you're moving matters far more than exactly where you stand today. Here's my honest opinion. I think the two loudest reactions to this are both wrong, and the truth sits in the uncomfortable middle. The people shouting China has caught up and beaten the sanctions are way ahead of the facts. The yields are poor, the costs are high. It's not true TSMC grade 5 nanometer, and it probably still leans on imported tools. Anyone selling you China 1 is selling a fantasy. But the people insisting, this is nothing, it's expensive and low yield, ignore it, are making the bigger and more common mistake, because they're focused on the cost and missing the proof. The entire export control strategy was built on the word impossible. EUV is required, full stop, no workaround. SMIC just turned impossible into expensive, and in engineering, those are not remotely the same thing. Impossible is a wall, expensive is a to-do list. You can grind down expensive over time. You cannot grind down impossible. What strikes me most, yet again, is the pattern. Every time a barrier goes up to contain China's technology, the response isn't surrender. It's a workaround that nobody thought was viable, forced into existence by the pressure itself. Light instead of electrons, CPUs instead of GPUs, and now 4-pass DUV instead of the one machine they were denied. I genuinely don't think that's coincidence anymore. Necessity isn't just the mother of invention here, it's becoming the entire engine of an industry. So here's my question for you, and I want your honest answer, because this is the real debate. Did the export controls fail by proving they can be engineered around, or did they actually succeed by forcing China to spend enormous money and effort on a slower, more expensive path it otherwise wouldn't have needed? In other words, is making your rival's progress expensive a win, even if you couldn't make it impossible? Drop your real take in the comments. I read every single one, and this one genuinely splits smart people down the middle. If you want to keep following this, the workarounds, the breakthroughs, the moves the rest of the world keeps underestimating until they can't, subscribe to Eastern Engine and hit the notification bell. Chips, light, energy, the whole foundation of modern technology is being rewritten right now, and we break it all down before the mainstream catches on. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.